Hey, it's Ken. It's time for another video. You hear me saying it all the time that the videos I make are for preppers, but I've never really told you why I'm a prepper. After I retired, we got into foster care, and we found out that because the federal government had passed the National Preparedness month and all the information that they were expecting you to do, that we were told that we were expected, if we had foster kids in the home, that we were expected to have items in the home for emergencies. So I got in there and started looking around and found out all these preparedness channels on YouTube, and looking at what the government was suggesting. They were suggesting that you have about a month's worth of food total, between the office, your car, and your home. It's about a month's worth of food and water. So the more I started looking at it, the more interested I became. And because of being in the Marine Corps, I saw some things that, as I was looking at the preparedness channels and what the federal government was saying, it started ringing bells in my head, like what happens if a natural disaster happens, right? What happens if the Yellowstone caldera goes off? What happens if there's a CME, right? And I really I'm not worried about an EMP as much. But the scientists do say that we're overdue for a CME, and they also say that we are also overdue for the Yellowstone caldera to erupt. And once that does, they're, pretty much, if there's a massive eruption, that it could cover most of the dust would cover most of the United States, except for the states in the southeast. And there are also a little known belt of volcanoes in Northern California, Oregon, etc. They're all connected, and if one goes, they all go. There's 7 of them, so that would also be a pretty big explosion. There are also pandemics and several things that could happen. I mean, pick your poison, right? Things I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about alien invasion. I'm not worried about a battalion of North Korean People's Army paratroopers, paratrooping into my neck of the woods. Not worried about that at all. But what I am worried about, and the reason that I do prep, is if we lose the grid. Now, pick your poison, right? Pick your poison. What thing are you worried about the most? But in the end, whatever it is you're worried about the most, we're going to lose the grid. And if we lose the grid, that means we lose internet. Not unless, of course, you're connected to a satellite, but everybody else going to lose the grid. That means they have no access to the internet. And that's why I prep, and the thing I'd like for you to do, if you've ever wondered about prepping and you're not a prepper, is I want you to spend a couple days, just go around and look and see what is connected to the grid, what is connected to the internet. So maybe if we lose the grid and the internet, then maybe there might be 6 or 7 days worth of food that can be delivered to the stores. But eventually they're going to run out, and they're not going to be able to get more. Same thing with gas stations. Okay? You're not going to be able to get fuel for your car. And more importantly, trucks are not going to be able to get diesel. And if trucks cannot get diesel, guess how fast they're going to shut down. Without the trucks, no deliveries are being made to grocery stores, and there you go. Also, do you really think you can get into your bank accounts if we lose the grid? Now, I was talking to this one lady, and she's older like me, and for whatever reason, she believed that because she has a paper deposit record, that's going to allow her to get her money. Oh, that's not true. Once the banks lose electricity, they have no access to their computer systems. They have no access to the internet. They're not going to give you any money. What they're going to do is go on a bank holiday. They're just going to close the bank. Because now, all your money in the bank, it's just all ones and zeros. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but here where I live, if you want more than $3,000, you have to call them ahead of time, make an appointment, and then make sure that they actually have the cash in the bank before you can go get it. If you want cash. Now, they'll give you a check, sure enough. But if you want cash, and you walk into your bank tomorrow and say, hey, I want to withdraw $5,000, watch what happens. So there it is. That's why I prep, okay? The grid goes down for any reason, pandemic, CME, the devaluation of the dollar, the government crashes. I mean, you know, pick your poison, right? Pick your poison. Once the grid goes down, you know, it's just not going to be pretty if we can't get it back up within a couple of days. Well, you hear my dog barking in the background. It is what it is. So I challenge you to, as you're traveling around for the next few days, just look at everything that depends on you having access to the grid and to the internet. You go into the grocery store, they depend on the internet and the grid, the electric grid. No electricity, it's going to get bad fast. And even if they will allow you to use cash, the next question is, do you have any cash? Because you're not going to be able to go to the bank and get any cash out. So that's my challenge for you. The next few days, if you're not a prepper, go and look at everything that depends on electricity and the internet. And you're going to find out that 99% of everything depends on electricity and the internet. Okay, so most companies these days, they are connected for resupply by the internet. It doesn't matter if it's a grocery store, a gas station, your local hardware store, they all order over the internet. If they don't have access to the internet, even if it's still up, which if the electricity grid goes down, they won't be up. But even if for some reason it is, they won't be able to order because they don't have any electricity. So that's a challenge. Hope you go out and look around, take it seriously, take a good look, you'll see what I'm talking about. That'll do it for today. I hope you have a blessed one. We'll see you next time.